about Circle?
Oh my God.
Yes.
I haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about Circle.
Yeah, Circle's like a really small little independent film that I shot recently. It's sci-fi in style. I can't reveal too much about it, and I don't really have the official language on how they want me to speak about it, but imagine if 50 people woke up in a room and you were on a circle, and you were in a circle, and every minute someone gets killed. So it was a very intense shoot. I worked with some amazing actors who, you know, faces you see but nobody you would really know, and had an amazing experience with it with these two young filmmakers that I think are really going to go somewhere.
I'm excited. Have they said yet when we may start being able to see it?
No, I think the plan is to hit the festival circuit with it. It's definitely a festival film.
Yeah.
What I loved about it was the challenge of making a film where there's no props, no movement, no blocking, and it's just all about the work.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask some questions about Angel.
Yes.
Well, you know, the first time we met Darla was in the first season of Buffy, and then she kind of goes away, and then obviously you're asked back for Angel. What were your thoughts on being able to add, I mean, I know we've seen more backstory of Darla, but then getting to play the more human aspect of her, you know, on her return to Angel, and just sort of that transition of who we saw that first season of Buffy, and then kind of as her character grew through Angel.
Yeah, no, you know, originally I was cast as Vampire Girl #1. And I was supposed to die in the pilot. And when we went to shoot, to reshoot the pilot presentation, Joss came to me and said, "We're not going to kill you." And so they kept me around, and then he's like, "We're going to give you a name." And then I was supposed to die in the next episode, and once again, this day I was supposed to die. He's like, "We're not going to kill you." And then I did the third episode, and then he's like, "We're going to kill you." And I was like, it made sense, because, you know, they needed to set up that love triangle. But, you know, Buffy had to win the battle. It was called Buffy. But it was so great when they brought me back to Angel, because, yeah, we got to explore much more of Darla'S backstory. And I think for me, too, I got to grow up a little more as an actress and get some more work under my belt, so I could then play Darla more. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
After playing Rita on Dexter, were you looking for a stronger role for yourself as far as, you know, being the mayor of Defiance?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've done a lot of work between Dexter and Defiance, but my goal was to find my goal now is to find strong female roles. You know, I have plenty of time in my career to play the mother-wife victim role, because that's pretty much what they write. So if I can find something that falls, you know, outside of that box, then that attracts me. That's what I want to do. So we're finding more and more in television that the female roles are becoming stronger. We're in an age of television right now where they're writing really amazing women for television, and we're seeing that by, you know, all the different film stars that are now coming to do TV. So for me, it's just a matter of, you know, trying to keep it mixed up for as long as I can, because, you know, eventually I'll get old and have to play grandmas one day. So.
Speaking of strong female characters, your character in Defiance went through kind of a transformation from in season 1 being a very strong political leader, and then taking a different path this season. Do you envision her going back to making inspirational speeches?
I hope
or
not.
Maybe going down, or maybe going down a darker path.
No, I mean, I do think the eventual goal, I do think Amanda will eventually end up back in power one day, but it would just be too easy and too boring to do that right away. I mean, I liked the structure of Amanda, how it's been set up. The first season, really developing, you know, the strong veneer, and then season 2 ripping that veneer off and exposing, like, her soft underbelly. You know, if we have a season 3, I'd be really interested to see where they take her. But for me as an actress, I think it was important. If you know, Amanda is the moral compass of the show. Like, she's really the only one. really, yeah, the only one who really has morals in the show. And they're not high morals, but I mean, she's definitely the moral compass of Defiance. And so it was, we had to establish that in season 1, that she was the hope for the town, that she was the idealist. But then it was great to be able to kind of rip it, like play with it a little bit and tear it up a bit in season 2. But she'll always be the hero.
Good.
In talking about playing strong characters, do you think it helps that, you know, actresses like you were saying, hey, I'm looking to play stronger characters and changing the dynamic of the types of female roles that are shown on television, and that not only are writers writing them, but at the same time, actresses are saying, hey, we want to play these stronger characters as well?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's so great now. I mean, back when I started as an actress, and it was a long time ago, I'm 42 years old, and I started when I was 13. So back when I was like a young actor, we didn't see many 40-year-old women on TV in like a starring role. They were more, you know, the mothers and the more of the background, and shows were more about young people. And nowadays we're seeing more and more, we're allowed to age. I'm allowed to get older and continue to work. And I'm not leading the way. I'm, you know, following footsteps of so many women that went before me that have been able to kind of burst through that ageism and that genderism in television. And I'm so thankful for that, you know, because we should be allowed to age. You know, we should be allowed to be represented in television and be role models as well.
Throughout your career, you obviously have this tendency to take more cerebral kind of roles, I would classify them as. And you said the other night in a panel, you know, you go for that flawed character in your roles. My first question goes to, have you found that you were the one who selected those roles, or did those roles come to you, like people saw that in you? How did that evolve?
I don't know. I mean, you know, I audition for stuff. I meet on stuff. There's a lot of roles I don't get.
Yeah.
But what I do know is I don't play perfect women very well. And it's because I'm not a perfect woman.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I don't live in perfection. And I don't try to. And I just think that, you know, there's a little bit of damage in each and every one of us.
Sure.
And I love that about people. I seek that out even in my friends. Like I don't just love the perfection of them. Like you also have to love the flaws.
Right.
And so, but I just feel lucky. You know, I feel like the universe has taken really good care of me and has brought me some amazing scripts and some amazing roles. But there's no science to it.
Right. Okay. And do you feel like, from your upbringing, I know you did ice skating as a child. How did that all evolve into your acting career? Was that instrumental?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I started ice skating at the age of 3. It taught me discipline. It taught me hard work. It made me realize that there's no such thing as an overnight success.
Sure.
I mean, you have to work very hard all the time. You have to be dedicated and committed. I'm always on time. But, you know, the performance aspect of it as well. I grew up performing in front of crowds of people, and so it just was a natural progression for me to continue to perform.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it just, for me, it was a natural transition.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a much better actress than I was an ice skater.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, and I'm very competitive.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's.
But it makes me I audition very well because I think from a young age having to deal with nerves, having to deal with tension, having to go out and perform in front of large groups of people and compete, and knowing that you have 3 minutes and that's it to like prove yourself, and you got to hit every jump and every spin and be and you have to have nerves of steel from a young age. That definitely helped me with auditioning and with, even doing this kind of stuff and talk shows and stuff like that. You know, just I get very competitive and I have nerves of steel when faced with big moments.
Okay. Wow.
We're just going to take a couple more questions. I have one. Did you see the Dexter finale? And if you did, what were your thoughts on it? Because there are a lot of people that are a bit upset with how it ended, and since you were on the show for a good while, which your death was the greatest death in the whole series.
Thank
But
I had to
sorry,
get
spoiler alert if you haven't watched it. So I just want to know if you had seen it, what you thought about it.
Yeah, I actually haven't watched it, I'll be honest. I have a hard time watching any show after I've been on it, just because, like, the magic's ruined for me.
Right,
I can't,
right.
It's hard to buy into the characters, and, like, which really sucked because when I was on Desperate Housewives, I was such a huge fan of the show, and then after being on it, I couldn't watch it anymore because I knew the houses were, like, facades, and I knew, like, and it just ruined it for me, and I was like, damn it, I love the show so much, I can't watch it anymore. But, I mean, I know about the ending. I mean, lots of people have told me, including the cast, the crew, and the writers. You know, I honestly believe, yeah, it would have been great to see Dexter atone for everything, to see him finally be confronted with his whole life and have to pay a price for that. But at the same time, he kind of ended up where he began.
Right, right.
And there's something kind of poetic about that. And, you know, I think in the end, I remember when the Sopranos finale came out, and a lot of people were kind of disappointed in it. But then when you binge watch Sopranos now and you watch it, you realize the poetry in it and how, like, amazing that ending is. And I think Dexter will have that same effect, but we need some time and space. I mean, I think we all had, like, such high expectations for how they were going to end it. And then, you know, maybe it didn't meet what you thought it would.
Right.
But I think down the line, when you binge watch it, like in 10 years, you'll see the poetry in it.
Right.
Do you have any, you've played, obviously with such a wide acting career, you've played a lot of variety of roles. Do you have any that stick out in your mind as just roles that were just a lot of fun for you to play and be a part of?
Robin on Desperate Housewives was, it's one of the first times I worked on a show where I was such a huge diehard fan. And to work with women whose work had inspired me over the years was, I was nervous. I mean, I remember doing a scene with the whole cast, and it was a big scene, lots of dialogue, and all of a sudden it just went quiet, and I'm like looking at everybody. And I remember Terry looked at me, and she went, it's your line. And I was like, oh my God. I was just sitting on my couch eating popcorn, watching all of you. Like, that's like how I felt. Like, it was so surreal that I was actually on Wisteria Lane and being a part of the mythology of the show. So it was just a lot of fun. And I loved Robin. I just thought she was for me, she was a real character role. And, you know, I got to change my voice a little bit and how I moved and to play this, you know, woman who everyone made quick judgment calls about, but yet she had such a good heart and a good soul, and which is, you know, odd on Desperate Housewives. So it was really wonderful for me. That job was great. You know, Darla'S pretty epic for me. I mean, I view my time on Buffy and Angel as going to a really great graduate school. I learned more on those sets about acting than I did when I went to NYU. Not that I didn't learn some stuff at NYU, I did. But I learned more working with Joss Whedon and everybody over at Buffy and Angel than I learned in school.
We're going to go, if there's anything else that you would like to talk about before we wrap up?
No, I just wrapped a movie called Havenhurst, and it's being done by one of the producers of Saw. It should be out next year, and it's a horror / psychological thriller, so I'm very excited about it too. That's it.
All right.
Thank you.